My girlfriend texted from a girls' trip. We need to talk. I think we should see other people. I replied, clarity is good. Then I posted my new relationship status and a photo of me handing the keys to our apartment back to the landlord. Her friends started frantically texting me, asking why her belongings were on the curb. When her message lit up my phone, I didn't feel the heartbreak people always talk about. No pit in my stomach. No tears. Just silence, and then a quiet laugh. Not because it was funny, but because it was so expected, so scripted, it felt like a bad TV cliché. We need to talk. Followed by, I think we should see other people. Sent at 11:03 p.m. from a rooftop bar halfway across the country. Classy. I stared at the screen for a few seconds, letting it sink in. This wasn't just a breakup. This was a performance. A statement. She wanted to show me she was done, that she was in control, that she had choices. And she chose to end it via text, while on a girls' trip that, deep down, I always knew was more than just cocktails and beach pics. So I didn't ask questions. I didn't respond with why, or can we talk, or is there someone else. I typed 3 simple words, clarity is good. And then I got to work. I didn't cry. I didn't drink. I didn't even sit down. I walked straight into our bedroom, my bedroom, and started packing. Not my stuff, asterisk hers. Asterisk every drawer, every hanger, every bottle of overpriced skincare and gym outfits she never actually wore. I folded everything neatly, boxed it, labeled it. I wasn't going to let her say I was petty. No. I was going to be clean, precise, and thorough. Then I called the landlord. I told him I'd be vacating the apartment. Yes, the lease was in my name. She wasn't even on it. I had already paid the final month, and I'd be handing over the keys the next morning. He asked if I was sure. I've never been more sure of anything, I said. By noon the next day, I had cleared the last of my belongings, took a picture of the apartment. Empty, quiet, and another one of me handing over the keys to the landlord. That photo. That became my new profile picture. Caption: single, clear, at peace. And then I posted it. Within 20 minutes, my phone exploded. Her friends were messaging me like the building was on fire. What's going on? Why is her stuff outside? Are you okay? She just broke up with you. This is too far. No, what was too far was treating me like a backup plan. What was too far was thinking she could break my heart over margaritas and selfies, and still come home to clean sheets and the comfort of someone who'd wait for her. She wanted to see other people? Great. Now she could see what it looks like when someone sees through her. We met 3 years ago at a friend's party, the kind of party where nobody knows why they're there, but the drinks are free and everyone pretends to enjoy the playlist. She stood out. Confident, witty, the kind of girl who could make eye contact across the room and make you feel like the only person there. I fell fast. Hard. And for a while, it felt like she did too. Our relationship was passionate, fun, loud. We traveled together, laughed like crazy, stayed up until 3 a.m. talking about our dreams, and posted carefully curated couple pics that made everyone think we were #goals. But behind those photos and memories, there were things I didn't share. Things I didn't want to admit. Little things at first. The way she never said, thank you, when I cooked dinner. How she always made jokes at my expense around her friends. Small digs that made everyone laugh but left me quietly stinging. Or how she always forgot to pay me back after dinner, even though we'd agreed to split things. At first, I brushed it all off. Told myself it was just her way. I loved her. That was supposed to mean overlooking flaws, right? But over time, those little things turned into something else. She'd pick fights over nothing. Go silent when I asked serious questions. Keep her phone on Do Not Disturb every time she went out. She'd post cryptic quotes on Instagram like, protect your peace, even from people you love, after a mild disagreement, just to get sympathy from her followers. Our once deep conversations turned into shallow exchanges and shrugged shoulders. Still, I held on. Maybe too tightly. I told myself we were just going through a rough patch. That every couple had their ups and downs. That if I was patient, we'd get back to the way things used to be. But the truth is, I was the only one trying. Then came the girls' trip. She brought it up casually, like it was just a harmless getaway with her college friends. I said sure, why not? She deserved a break. But the second she mentioned it, something inside me tensed. I couldn't explain it, but my gut started buzzing in a way it hadn't before. I asked who was going. She listed names I vaguely recognized, but there was a pause. A small hesitation before she added one last name. A guy's name. "He's just a friend," she said quickly, waving it off. I didn't push it. I didn't want to be the jealous boyfriend. But I noticed how she suddenly started spending more time on her phone. How she turned her screen away whenever a notification popped up. How she became even more distant leading up to her departure. The night before she left, she barely said goodbye. No kiss. No lingering hug. Just, "I'll text you when I land." And then she was gone. I spent the next few days telling myself it was all in my head. That I was being paranoid. That I needed to trust her. But deep down, I think I already knew. She wasn't coming back the same. And I was already done pretending. The message came on the third night of her trip. I was sitting on the couch in my hoodie, scrolling through Netflix, trying to find something to distract myself. I had half a burrito in one hand and my phone in the other when it buzzed. Her name lit up the screen. I paused. We hadn't spoken much since she left. A few dry texts here and there, just got to the hotel, heading out, talk later, but nothing warm. Nothing like what you'd expect from someone you share a bed and an apartment with. I opened the message. "We need to talk. I think we should see other people." That was it. No hello. No build-up. Just the digital version of a breakup slapped into a single sentence. Sent at 11:03 p.m., like it was an afterthought between shots of tequila and filtered selfies. I reread it 3 times to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding. Nope. That's what it said. And the thing is, I didn't even feel shocked. I didn't feel my heart drop or my throat close up. Instead, I sat back, stared at the wall, and let out a quiet laugh. Because of course this is how it ended. Of course she didn't have the guts to face me like an adult. She had to be dramatic, mysterious. Leave it on a cliffhanger like one of her Instagram reels. It wasn't just the breakup. It was the way she did it. Like I was just a loose end she needed to snip while she was out finding herself on some sunlit balcony surrounded by mojitos and attention. I didn't reply right away. I sat with it. Let the calm wash over me. And then I typed 3 words. Clarity is good. No punctuation. No emotion. Just a flat reply she couldn't twist into drama. I hit send. Then I stood up, went into our bedroom, and started packing her stuff. There was no rage. No need for revenge. It was clinical. Efficient. I pulled out her side of the closet, dresses, hoodies, those ugly boots she insisted were trendy, and folded everything into boxes. I took down the Polaroids she hung on the fridge. Packed her skincare shrine from the bathroom. Every candle. Every half-used lipstick. Every little thing she ever claimed as hers. I boxed it all. I was done waiting for people to choose me. I called the landlord the next morning. Told him I was terminating the lease. Yes, it was just me on the paperwork. No, she didn't contribute to rent. He asked if everything was okay. Yeah, I said. Better than okay. I posted a photo later that afternoon. Me, handing the apartment keys over to the landlord. Caption: single, clear, at peace. 5 minutes after that, I posted another one, her boxes stacked neatly on the curb. That's when the messages started. Her best friend, WTF is going on? Another, why is her stuff outside? She just needed space. And then, she was gonna talk it out with you in person. But she didn't say that. She said, we need to talk. I think we should see other people. So I gave her exactly what she asked for. Swiftly. decisively, and without a single tear. This wasn't some impulsive meltdown. It wasn't a hurt people situation. It was strategy. Calm, calculated, and clean. Because if she wanted to treat our relationship like a subscription she could cancel over text, then I would handle the rest like closing a tab in a browser. Quick, quiet, permanent. After I sent her that final message, clarity is good, I didn't just sit around waiting for her to follow up. I already knew she wouldn't. Not because she was cold, but because she was cowardly. Breaking up over a phone from miles away meant she had zero intention of coming home to talk like grown-ups. That message was her exit, and in her mind, she'd return to pick up whatever scraps were left, maybe keep the apartment, maybe even act like we could still be friends. Nah. I went straight into action. The next morning, I emailed my landlord and asked if we could meet that afternoon. The lease was in my name. She wasn't even listed. It was always a sensitive subject for her. She wanted us both on it, but at the time I had better credit, a stable job, and I had taken the lead. She agreed back then because it was convenient. Convenient for her, that is. Now, it gave me all the control. At the landlord's office, I asked about my options. Could I break the lease early? What would the process be to vacate and turn in the keys? His answer was better than I expected, because I had already paid the final month in advance. All I had to do was return the keys, and I'd be done. No penalties. No drama. Perfect. Then I went home and started organizing. I didn't touch a single item of hers with aggression. No tearing, no tossing. I folded her sweaters, zipped her duffel bags, labeled her boxes by room. I even bubble-wrapped her ceramic plant pots. Not because I cared, but because I wanted zero backlash. No, he ruined my stuff. No, he was bitter and destructive. I left her with nothing to blame but her own choices. Next, I arranged a pickup for my things. Some friends came to help me move my essentials into a short-term rental I found online. No furniture, just a bed, a desk, and peace. I took everything I had bought, the TV, my desk, my Xbox, kitchen knives, even the Nespresso, she said, was a waste of counter space. All mine. Then came the grand finale. I stacked her boxes by the curb in front of the building. I took a clean, well-lit photo. Nothing trashy, just reality. Then another photo. Me, in a simple black hoodie, handing over our apartment keys to the landlord. Both posted within minutes. My new status read, single, clear, at peace. Caption under the keys photo. You can't walk away from something and expect it to wait for you. It didn't take long. Her friends exploded into my inbox. One asked why her things were outside. Another said I was acting crazy. One had the audacity to say, she was just having a rough time, she didn't really mean it. I didn't reply. She wanted freedom. She got it. She wanted distance. Now she had it, down to the sidewalk, where her carefully packed belongings waited for her to finally deal with the consequences of her decision. And me. I was already gone. She came back on a Sunday. I knew the exact moment, not because she texted or called, but because the Ring camera, yes, the one she always said was paranoid energy, lit up with motion. There she was, standing at the front of the building, dragging her suitcase in one hand, phone in the other, sunglasses still on like she'd just stepped off a runway. She looked completely unbothered, until she saw the boxes. Neatly packed. Labeled. Sitting right there on the curb. At first, she froze. Like she didn't believe what she was looking at. Then she scanned the sidewalk, probably expecting a prank, a hidden camera, maybe even me stepping out to say, gotcha. But all she got was reality. I watched her pull out her phone, start texting, fast, angry thumbs. I didn't even check what she sent. I had her on silent. Then she started calling. Once. Twice. 6 times in a row. Then a FaceTime request. I didn't answer. What was left to say? She buzzed the building's front entrance repeatedly like she still lived there. Then she finally looked up and noticed the lockbox on the door, where the new tenants would pick up the keys tomorrow. That's when she snapped. Full panic. She called one of her friends, I assumed the one who'd been blowing up my phone all weekend, and started pacing. Loud. Red-faced. Almost cartoonish. Eventually, she walked over to the boxes and started going through them like maybe there had been a mistake. Like maybe I'd left something precious inside by accident, something she could claim to justify a confrontation. But there wasn't. I made sure of it. Then came the real meltdown. Her Instagram stories started popping up. Black screen. Some people will show you who they really are. Believe them. Then a blurry photo of the boxes. Imagine coming home to this after a "we need to talk" text. Sick behavior. And finally, a screenshot of her text to me, unresponded. You're not even going to give me 5 minutes? 5 minutes? She gave me 5 words. I think we should see other people. That's what she sent. No closure. No warning. Just a digital punch and a disappearing act. And now, after realizing that the world doesn't wait for her to make up her mind, she wanted 5 minutes? Nope. By then, I had blocked her number, archived the chat, and turned off notifications from her entire circle. Let them spiral. Let them speculate. I didn't owe anyone an explanation for refusing to be someone's emotional storage unit. A few hours later, one of her closer friends, someone who had always been decent, texted me from a new number. She's devastated. She says she didn't mean it the way it sounded. She thought you'd talk it out. Why didn't you wait? And I just stared at the message for a moment before typing. She said we should see other people. I agreed. I just moved faster than she did. I never got a reply. And I didn't need one. Because for once, I ended things. Not with drama. Not with bitterness. But with silence, action, and closure so sharp it left no room for misinterpretation. She wanted out. I just showed her the exit. The days that followed were quiet. Peaceful in a way I hadn't felt in months. No passive-aggressive tension. No silent treatments. No walking on eggshells in my own home. Just me, a new apartment that smelled like fresh paint and possibility, and the soft hum of peace I didn't even realize I was missing. I set up my new place slowly. No rush. Just intention. I bought a new couch. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. Hung up art I actually liked, not the boho minimalist crap she used to force into every room. My playlist echoed through the place without someone rolling their eyes or saying, "This again." I even started sleeping better. Deeper. The truth is, breaking up with her didn't break me. It freed me. For so long, I had shrunk myself to fit her world. Changed plans to accommodate her moods. Swallowed my needs just to keep the peace. I thought love was supposed to be sacrifice, but I had confused that with settling. And the longer I stayed, the more I forgot what it was like to simply be myself, without performance, without apology. Now, there were no more surprises. No cryptic texts. No wondering if she actually meant the things she said or if I was supposed to decode them. There was just clarity. And that, to me, was the real revenge. People kept reaching out in the weeks after. Some saying I was cold. Others saying she deserved it. A few asked if I'd ever talk to her again. I didn't respond to any of them. Not out of pettiness. But because I had already said everything I needed to, without saying anything at all. Her things on the curb? That was my closure. Handing over the keys? That was my goodbye. Blocking her number? That was my peace. I heard she moved in with one of her friends temporarily. Word is she's been telling everyone that I overreacted and misunderstood her text. That she just wanted space and I twisted it. Maybe that's what she needs to believe. That I was the villain in her story. But honestly, I'm okay with that. Because I finally realized I don't need to defend myself for protecting my peace. Let them talk. Let them gossip. Let her explain why her stuff was on the sidewalk without telling the part where she ended a relationship over a lazy, 2-sentence text message. I've moved on. I go out more now. I see friends I had lost touch with while I was busy trying to hold together something one-sided. I laugh louder. I walk taller. And recently, I started seeing someone. It's early, nothing serious yet, but she listens. She shows up. She's kind. And most importantly, I don't feel like I have to earn basic respect. Looking back, I'm not even mad at my ex anymore. I'm actually grateful. Because she gave me the perfect gift. An opportunity to reclaim my dignity. And I took it, without hesitation. So if you're ever wondering whether you should wait for someone who disrespects your worth to come around, here's your sign: don't. Sometimes, the best closure is silence. And the best revenge is a life lived well without them.